For many years, Earth stayed quiet. After the last alien attack, humans did not chase their enemies. They did not shout for revenge. They did not send war fleets into space. Instead, they rebuilt. Cities were repaired. Shipyards worked day and night. New stations were built in secret places. From the outside, Earth looked weak. Across the galaxy, alien empires watched and whispered. "The humans are broken," some said. "They fear us now," others believed. A powerful alien alliance called the Zarkuun Dominion studied Earth closely. They saw no human warships leaving the planet. They saw no fleets training in space. To them, it was clear. Humans had lost their courage. So the Zarkuun leaders planned a second attack. They believed Earth had no real weapons left. They believed humans were hiding because they were afraid. But something strange happened. 1 month before the invasion, every human military base went dark. No lights, no signals, no movement. All human ships returned to Earth. Every station closed its gates and powered down. To the galaxy, it looked like surrender. Other alien races watched in confusion. Some felt pity for humans. Some felt joy. Some waited to see Earth burn. Then, on a quiet cycle of galactic time, a signal appeared. It did not come from a fleet. It did not come from a weapon. It came from Earth itself. The signal spread in all directions. It reached distant stars. It reached ancient empires. It reached the Zarkuun War Council. The message had no music, no greeting, no proud speech. Only one sentence appeared on every screen. "This is Earth. Do not attack us again." For a moment, the galaxy was silent. Then, it laughed. Zarkuun commanders mocked the message. They said humans were trying to scare them with words. "Empty noise," they said, "last cries of a dying world." The Zarkuun fleet began to move. Millions of ships formed a dark wave across space. Their weapons glowed with red light. Their engines burned like stars. They were coming to finish what they had started. Deep inside Earth, hidden far below the oceans and mountains, ancient doors opened. Massive chambers woke from sleep. Machines older than any living human began to move. Human leaders did not cheer. They did not smile. They only watched. They knew what was coming next would change the galaxy forever. What Earth had built was not an army. It was not a fleet. It was something meant for one purpose only, not to fight, but to end. And as the Zarkuun fleet crossed into human space, Earth sent no more words, only silence. A silence filled with power. The Zarkuun fleet moved toward Earth. Their ships filled space like a dark storm. Millions of metal bodies crossed the stars, blocking light from distant suns. Each ship carried heavy weapons built for destruction, not mercy. Across the galaxy, other alien races watched in silence. Some felt fear. Some felt pity for humans. Some waited for Earth to fall. "They are too quiet," one race whispered. "They should have run," said another. But Earth did not move. Human ships stayed close to the planet. No fleets rushed forward. No defense lines formed in space. To the Zarkuun Dominion, this was proof. "Humans are afraid," their leaders said. "They hide behind their world because they cannot fight." As the Zarkuun fleet crossed the border of human space, Earth sent another signal. It was short. It was calm. "Turn back. This is your last chance." The Zarkuun War Council laughed. A single sentence again one commander said. They have nothing else. The order was given. Fire. The first Zarkuun weapons flashed. Red beams crossed space and struck a small human moon base. The base broke apart in silence. Metal and fire drifted into darkness. Across Earth, people saw the explosion on their screens. There was no panic, no screaming in the streets, only stillness. That was the moment humanity stopped hiding. Deep under Earth's oceans, massive doors opened. Water rushed aside as giant towers rose from the sea. Under mountains, stone cracked and split, metal structures pushed upward into the sky. In the deserts, the sand shook. Old machines climbed out of the ground, covered in dust and time. They were not ships. They were weapons. Huge, silent, unmoving. The galaxy saw them appear and did not understand. What are those? Alien observers asked. The Zarkuun fleet hesitated for the first time, but pride ruled them. Fire again, their leaders ordered. More shots flew toward Earth. Before they could reach the planet, space itself changed. The light bent, the stars twisted. The Zarkuun weapons vanished, not destroyed, gone. The Zarkuun commanders shouted in confusion. What did they do? What kind of shield is this? But Earth did not answer. More human machines rose from the planet. They formed patterns around Earth like a ring of silent giants. Inside human command centers, leaders watched with calm faces. They had waited for this moment. They had hoped it would never come. But now the galaxy had forced their hand. The Zarkuun fleet continued forward, blind with anger. They did not know that the next step would be their last, because Earth was no longer defending. Earth was preparing to show the galaxy the truth, and the truth was about to break the stars.
The galaxy watched in shock. Human weapons did not fire lasers. They did not launch missiles. They bent gravity. The massive machines around Earth began to glow with a cold blue light. Space around them twisted, like water pulled into a deep hole. Zarkuun ships slowed without warning. Their engines screamed, but they could not move. Then, space itself broke. Whole fleets vanished in silence. No explosion, no fire. Just empty space where ships had been. Alien observers across the galaxy froze in fear. "What kind of weapon is that?" they asked. "How do you fight something that eats space?" Zarkuun commanders shouted orders to retreat, but gravity held them. Their ships were crushed into metal dust. Others were pulled apart, piece by piece, as if invisible hands were tearing them open. Within minutes, the great Zarkuun armada was no longer a fleet. It was wreckage. Earth did not chase the survivors. Instead, Earth sent another message. It was as short as the first two. "This is your warning." The galaxy listened now. But humanity was not finished. Far from Earth, in a quiet star system with no life, a new human machine woke up. It was bigger than any ship, bigger than any station. It had been built around a star. Human scientists gave the order. The device activated. The star began to shake. Light bent inward. Fire collapsed into itself. In a moment that should not be possible, the star was gone. Where it once burned, only darkness remained. The entire system went cold. Alien empires felt fear in their bones. "They can kill suns," they whispered. "They can kill everything." The Zarkuun leaders tried to escape. Their capital fleets turned away from Earth and ran. Earth did not follow. Instead, Earth sent one more signal across the galaxy. It reached every ruler and every fleet. "We do not want war. We want safety." But the meaning was clear. Safety meant obedience. The galaxy finally understood. Humans were not warriors, they were judges. They did not fight battles, they ended threats. And now every empire knew what happened to those who ignored Earth. The few Zarkuun ships that survived drifted in fear. They had attacked a world they thought was weak. They had awakened something ancient, something patient, something final. Space around Earth returned to calm. The machines stopped glowing, but they did not go back to sleep. They waited. Because the galaxy had learned the lesson once, but pride is slow to die. And somewhere in the dark, a last Zarkuun fleet still watched, still planned, still dreamed of revenge, unaware that their time was already over.
Fear spread across the galaxy. Worlds that once mocked Earth now sent messages of peace. Great empires lowered their weapons. Small nations hid behind shields. Some sent gifts, rare metals, ancient art, living treasures from distant worlds. Others sent words. "We are sorry. We did not know your power. We wish to be friends." The Zarkuun Dominion was not strong anymore. Their fleets were gone. Their borders were broken. Their people no longer trusted their leaders. On the Zarkuun homeworld, cities filled with angry crowds. They shouted at their rulers. They blamed them for waking the humans. "You doomed us," the people cried. "You brought death to our stars." The Zarkuun leaders tried to speak. They tried to promise safety, but fear was stronger than power. The rulers were pulled from their towers and thrown into prison. The Dominion collapsed from the inside. Earth watched and said nothing. Then Earth sent a new message. It was calm. It was clear. "We do not want war. We want safety." Across the galaxy, the words were repeated again and again. Some believed them, some did not. Deep in a hidden system, far from all known space, a Zarkuun fleet still survived. They had not joined the main attack. They had waited. Their commanders burned with shame and anger. "The humans humiliated us," they said. "They destroyed our pride." They did not listen to the cries of peace. They did not listen to their own people. They chose pride. Their ships powered up in silence. They turned toward Earth. This last fleet was smaller, but it was fast. It slipped through dark space and avoided detection. Alien empires tried to warn Earth, but the hidden fleet was already moving. When the ships reached human space, they did not speak. They did not wait. They fired. Red energy streaked toward Earth like burning knives. Human defense systems activated at once. Gravity fields rose around the planet. The attacks vanished into bending light. On Earth, there was no panic. There was only resolve. The last Zarkuun fleet had crossed the line. Their act was not war. It was suicide. Human commanders watched the enemy ships and gave a single order: mark them. Deep in space, far from Earth, ancient machines began to turn. The galaxy held its breath. Peace had been offered, mercy had been shown, but the Zarkuun had chosen fire, and fire would be answered, because Earth had spoken its truth. It wanted safety, and safety had a price.
Humans did not defend. They erased. The hidden Zarkuun fleet was marked across space. Their ships were fast, but they could not hide. Human machines far beyond Earth began to move. No fleets chased the enemy. No missiles were launched. Instead, space itself answered. Around the Zarkuun ships, gravity grew heavy. Light bent. Time slowed. The fleet tried to escape. Their engines burned bright, but space pulled them back. One by one, the ships disappeared. Not in fire, not in sound. They were simply gone. In seconds, the last Zarkuun attack fleet was erased from the galaxy. Earth did not celebrate. There were no cheers. Instead, human leaders turned their eyes to the Zarkuun home system, the place where the war had begun, the place that had sent death to Earth. Far away, the Zarkuun capital world circled its bright star. Billions lived there, but Earth did not aim at the planet. They aimed at the star. A great human device, hidden for centuries, moved into position. It was built for one task only: to break suns. Human scientists spoke with quiet voices. Target confirmed. System clear of other life. Weapon ready. Across the galaxy, alien empires felt fear rise again. They knew what was coming. The human device activated. The Zarkuun star trembled. Its light flickered. The fire at its heart collapsed inward. In a moment no mind could fully understand, the star died. No explosion reached the planets. No heat remained. Only darkness. The Zarkuun home system went silent forever. Their capital world froze in shadow. Their history ended in one breath. Earth sent its final message. It did not shout. It did not threaten. It simply said, "Attack again, and we end your species." The message reached every corner of the galaxy. No empire answered. No fleet moved. Space itself seemed to pause. Leaders of great powers shut down their weapons. War councils dissolved. Invasion plans were burned. From that day on, no race dared to test Earth again. Human weapons returned to their silent watch. The great machines stopped glowing, but they did not sleep. They waited. The galaxy understood the truth at last. Humans did not seek control. They did not seek conquest, but they would not forgive danger. They would not allow threats. They would not allow fear to rule their future. Earth had become untouchable, not because it ruled, but because it ended.
Years passed after the fall of the Zarkuun star. The galaxy did not forget, but it changed. Humans did not chase power. They did not build empires. They did not take alien worlds. Instead, they built borders. Around Earth's space, massive machines floated in wide circles. They burned with soft light and deep gravity. Together, they formed a line. Aliens called it the human line. Beyond that line, no ship crossed, not in anger, not in curiosity, not in fear. Alien fleets stopped far away and turned back. Trade routes bent around human space. Even the strongest empires chose longer paths through the stars. Earth became a quiet center in a noisy galaxy. Human ships traveled only when needed. They explored, but they did not threaten. They watched, but they did not rule. Some alien races became friends with humans. They spoke of peace. They shared knowledge. They kept their distance from the line. Others kept their weapons close, but none crossed. On distant worlds, children learned stories about Earth. Teachers spoke of a small blue planet that ended wars. They told how humans bent space and broke stars. They told how pride had destroyed the Zarkuun Dominion. The lesson was simple. Never attack humans. Never test Earth. Never ignore their warning. Because Earth does not fight wars. Earth ends them. On Earth, people lived their lives. Cities grew. Oceans healed. Skies became clear. Few spoke of the machines in space, but they all knew they were there, watching, waiting. Human leaders met often, not to plan war, but to prevent it. They remembered the past. They remembered the first attack. They remembered the second. They remembered the price of silence. And they swore never to be weak again.
One day, a small alien ship stopped near the human line. It did not carry weapons. It carried a message. "We wish to learn," it said. "We do not come to fight." Earth answered with open words, "You may come in peace." Slowly, carefully, the ship crossed the line. Nothing destroyed it. Nothing touched it. The galaxy watched and learned something new. Humans were not monsters. They were guardians. They did not want fear. They wanted balance. And balance had a shape. A blue world, a bright star, a ring of silent power. Far away, empty space marked where the Zarkuun star once burned. No ships went there. It was a grave, a warning written in darkness. And so the galaxy moved forward, under one rule, under one truth. Attack Earth, and the stars themselves will answer.